Imagine that you have $1 million, or better yet, 2 million, 5 million, or even $10 million. You have a successful business, a collection of expensive cars, a personal airplane, and the prospect of becoming the first Earth tourist on Mars. But suddenly, everything changes. Instead of the expensive sports car, you have an old minibus, van, or bike. But why? A stroke of misfortune, bankruptcy, illness, or insanity? You have probably heard about the bestseller book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. At the time, Canadian writer Robin Sharma surprised the reading public with the story of a millionaire lawyer who abandoned everything. The protagonist is a rich man who has survived a spiritual crisis. He traded his old life for something very strange. He traded luxury for wandering and asceticism. Why? What is the true meaning of this story? The book was written back in 1997, more than 20 years ago. Julian Mantle, a millionaire lawyer, is a fictional hero. But our world knows many similar stories. In this case, they are true stories. For example, the story of David Glasheen. In the 80s, Glasheen was head of the board of an Australian syndicate engaged in gold mining in Papua New Guinea. In addition, he actively gambled on the stock exchange. The fortune he earned on exchanges reached $28 million. Perhaps this elderly Australian is too often compared with the Castaway character. But while Tom Hanks' hero found himself on a desert island as a result of a plane crash, David Glasheen's life crashed in a financial accident. Each successive test left an indelible mark on his nature and character. He had to look for new ways in life, and David found them. Today, the former rich man lives on a deserted island with his dog and memories of the past, surrounded by the boundless ocean. Indeed, it reminds us either of the Castaway character or Robinson Crusoe. But if you look closer, Glasheen's life bears little resemblance to those famous stories. Solar power stations, a small brewery, and mandatory weekly trips to the nearest large city. To complete the set, he has stable internet connection. Yes, David does not lose hope to lure an adventurous girl or even a few to his island using the internet. After all, each Robinson needs his Friday, or even a few. If David Glasheen's story is reminiscent of some comedy, the life of Mazi Dumato is a tragedy in its pure form. In 2016, Mazi Dumato, who was 37 at the time, was handling a multi-million-dollar state. In Dubai, he was called the most successful young businessman. Luxurious life, stable business, yachts with the most beautiful girls, and endless parties with a morning hangover. It went downhill from there. A serious accident with an expensive Ferrari turned to several months in prison. That's probably when Mazi first began to think about the meaning of life. Having gone through all of this, he set off on another journey. In one of the Brazilian clubs, he accidentally overheard the conversation of two girls. One of them was telling about her miraculous cancer survival and the rethinking of life values. It is not difficult now to guess that this girl who beat cancer became a key to a new life full of Oriental philosophy, travel, and volunteer activity for Mazi. Already together, they suffered another blow of fate when Dumato's woman had a reoccurrence of the illness. It required a long and excruciating treatment on which Mazi spent a huge amount of his savings. After that, he spent several $1 million more on charity. He bought an old Volkswagen minibus with the rest of the money, and then traveled throughout South America. I live like a hippie, but with the mind of a businessman. My savings are enough for more than one life. I could not put a smile on my face before, and now I could not wipe it off, said Mazi Dumato of himself. Mike Bassich, one of the top snowboarders of our time, ranked 45th in the list of 50 most influential snowboarders of all time. Mike's career began back in 1985 when he was 13. Financial achievements of Bassich can be characterized as follows. Back in the late 90s, he easily bought a 400 square meter mansion in one of the most expensive areas of the California coast. However, like all of today's millionaires, the athlete then sold his large house and bought 40 acres of land in the California mountains. It took Mike 5 years to design and build a dwelling which is about 23 square meters big. Water is supplied from 2 mountain streams, heat is provided by a fireplace, and solar panels generate the necessary electricity. The building does not have a bathroom, only an outhouse. But it does not matter, as there is an open wood-fired hot tub. But the athlete's greatest luxury is his own single chairlift. At this point, all snowboarders and skiers must be drooling. Such is the lifestyle of the snowboarding genius. In just 3 years of his stellar career, professional baseball player Daniel Norris made $2 million, and his incomes rose. What didn't rise is Norris's personal expenses. Every month, the miracle baseball player spends no more than $800 on himself. The material side of his life comprises of an old minivan, which he uses to drive around beaches and mall parking lots in the baseball offseason. Teammates can't dig his philosophy. "Start behaving like a big league star," Dan's teammate said at some party, nodding towards a bottle of expensive champagne in an ice bucket. Daniel's response was, "I'm completely satisfied with my life. I can go wherever I want on my van, enjoy the sound of crashing waves, and sleep on the beach. I just want people to know that baseball is the most important thing in my life. I'm ready to work tirelessly to become the best pitcher. Although I have enough money in my bank accounts, I only buy what I need. The accumulation of countless wealth is not my philosophy. I see the three things in my life: the strike zone, good waves, and fun." Felipe LeBlanc's modeling career began when he visited a modeling agency in Montreal. "Almost by accident," he said. 4 years ago, LeBlanc bought himself a present for his 30th birthday, a minivan, and went on a trip from Los Angeles to Vancouver. According to Felipe, the following philosophy helps him feel like a true millionaire: "My van is my bedroom, and the world is my living room." He traded his luxurious life in Beverly Hills on the romance of semi-wild travel on his luxurious van. Although in the world of cramped vans, his vehicle is a penthouse on wheels with everything one needs: bedroom, solar panels, table, grill. It's easier to say what is not there. Why? You're still wondering? These stories look like a very strange trend. You can call it riches to rags story. The writer Robin Sharma positions the changes in the main character of his book as an awareness of his true vocation, or a kind of spiritual enlightenment. And for some reason, this enlightenment is typical for people who are accustomed to spending millions of dollars on themselves. People who are used to changing partners like their iPhones. A joke, which isn't new, immediately springs to mind. A motivational business book is when a man from Miami inspires a person from Omsk that in order to achieve success, one simply needs to get out of his comfort zone. But the resident of Miami and Omsk have different definitions of the so-called comfort zone. They will never understand each other, just as we will not understand millionaires who abandon everything. Perhaps to realize the true motives of such people, one must become a millionaire himself, step into the millionaire's shoes. Try this life out, acquire a taste for it. Each road begins where the other ends. You've got to become a millionaire, and maybe someday you will get tired of it and become a millionaire who abandoned everything.